In your own words, can you describe what bluegrass is?
Bluegrass is a sort of a descendant of old-time string band music, and it's sort of a close cousin of country music.
Guitar, upright bass, banjo, fiddle, and mandolin, but it could be and dobro sometimes.
It's got a certain bluesy, soulful side, and the banjo itself came from Africa.
It's stemmed back from, old-time jug bands. It's a mixture of Celtic influence and Scottish influence.
A uniquely American kind of music. It was invented by a musician named Bill Monroe after World War II. So people think it's old, but really it's a relatively new kind of music.
A lot of it's upbeat, but some of it is slow. There can be waltzes, there can be ballads.
A vocal ensemble kind of music where it depends very heavily on trios and quartets rather than just a solo.
Old-time music, something with heart and feel and soul and no drums or electric instruments.
English music that came over from Europe, and some of the slave music, African-American music that was already here. And a combination of those two things, to me, is what made bluegrass.
He was from Kentucky, and so he named it after the bluegrass state, and so therefore bluegrass music.
1, 2, 3.
Stirring in the footsteps of the crowd gathered by the sea. I can feel the wind carrying the voices, calling out to hear the prophecy. So tell me a story, a teaching so holy, one they told so long ago. The moon is rising, the night's close at hand. Story, man, and help me understand. Now listen
born to lose. I've lived my life in vain. Every dream has only brought me pain.
This week on Paranormal Plattsburgh.
I'm so scared.
Come out. I know you out there.
So this ghost, apparently he used to be in PSTV.
Word. Come out, wherever you are. You're not the only one out there.
Oh my god, something just touched my hair.
Oh, word?
What does spreading the bluegrass spirit to others mean to you?
It just means playing music that people hopefully will enjoy.
Well, spreading bluegrass spirit means that it's going to continue.
Just trying to connect with an audience.
Bluegrass is a lot of fun to play, and it's a lot of fun to listen to. You know, you look at the audience and you see that they're always tapping their feet and nodding their head. And
Really, it's just great to be on the stage with all those great, beautiful acoustic instruments and just our pure voices.
What we try to do is express our love for that kind of music and sort of invite people to see if they like it. We're not trying to convert everybody, but we think people who come to see it are going to fall in love with it.
it does something with rhythm. It just feels good, and it's also the words are often happy. Although even if it's a sad song, it sounds happy because of the tempos.
You know, you want to make sure that the younger generation are learning the traditional songs and, you know, maybe improvising on them, but it's a way to perpetuate the art form.
Nothing is manipulated except just to just the amplification to get us loud enough for everybody to hear. But it's just nice to be up there in that pure form.
It's a very uplifting kind of music. Makes you feel good.
Bluegrass has a great energy to it, and just sharing that energy is what it's about.
And there's a song about death, but it's a really hopeful song as well. It's called Make Up My Dying Bed.
or meet me with another pair. Well, 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 so I can die easy. Well, 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 so I can die easy. Well, 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 so I can die easy. Jesus gonna make up my dying bed. Well, in my time of dying, oh, won't you dress me up nice and neat, and put me on some hard-toed shoes,
just in case the devil I meet. Well, 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 well,
so I can die easy. Well, 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 so I can die easy. Well, 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 so I can die easy. Jesus gonna make up, Jesus gonna make up, Jesus gonna make up. Oh, my dying bed.
PSTV to me means everything.
It means a lot to me.
Professionalism.
Being creative.
It means an opportunity to figure out where and what you want to do in life.
It's a lot of fun.
Having fun.
Opportunities.
Working with great people.
It's a place where I can meet people to help me get to where I want to get to in life.
Having a good time while creating good stuff. I love PSTV.
Who are your influences in the music industry?
You know, I've got, like most musicians, I have lots of influences. Everybody from, Duke Ellington to Paul McCartney to, the old Bob Wills, the old blues people.
They're pretty broad. I mean, my musical taste runs a wide range. So, I mean, as a singer, I would say George Jones, Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, to name just a few. As players, oh gosh, there's so many influences that way. I almost don't even know how to name them. Otis Redding.
Well, my main influences are in bluegrass. My favorite mandolin player is a guy named Sam Bush, who's a little bit younger than I am, but he's been around for a very long time. He founded a band called the Newgrass Revival, which is kind of a bluegrass rock band. And I love that combination. I'm not that much of a traditionalist. I like to sort of fuse bluegrass with jazz and rock and country and that sort of thing. So Sam Bush was a really big influence.
Well, one of my favorite bluegrass singers is Claire Lynch. I really admire her. I admire the types of songs she does and just the variety of music, and her voice is beautiful, and her arrangements of music is just really amazing.
I first started playing like top 40 electric music probably almost about 40 years ago. And I did that, playing cover music and things like that in bars.
A guy named Stuart Duncan, who's probably one of the best fiddle players in the world. is another one. The Bluegrass Revival Band, which included Bela Fleck. Some people may have heard of Bela because he kind of went off and did a jazz thing.
As far as bluegrass goes, probably Earl Scruggs, because he invented the kind of banjo playing that I do. So Bill Monroe and Earl Scruggs would have to be the big ones.
I'm also influenced by jazz singers. I listened to jazz a lot as a kid, and so there's all kinds of influences.
And then a couple of other bands. There's one that was called the Seldom Scene, and they spelled Scene S-C-E-N-E, and they were a great band. And then in the 1980s, there was a band called Hot Rise that kind of had an alter ego country band that they called Red Knuckles and the Trailblazers. And those three bands were kind of the ones that I thought were the best.
What is your favorite part about working together in a band?
Well, there's a lot of different things. Being on stage is just great fun. Being up there with the guys, and there's just great energy.
All of us have been in lots of different bands, but somehow this band has a chemistry. It always gets better, and it's always even more interesting than the year before.
Being a bass player, I always look at what I do as supporting everybody else. So what I really like about it is, you know, everybody's kind of listening to what everybody's doing. It's the whole ensemble.
I love the idea that an ensemble is bigger than the sum of its parts. You know.
My favorite part is performing, actually, because we just have a really good time playing for audiences. And my second favorite is working out new songs, arranging new songs, because that's a really creative, it's a very intense process, and sometimes we have arguments, but I think, take a song that, you know, may just be kind of plain or even boring, and we end up making it exciting. And, you know, we fall in love with the song as we work on it and kind of transform it, so arranging.
Also really fun to work on new songs together and come up with arrangement ideas, and it's a really collaborative process where we all really take our different parts seriously and think about what, as a group, how we can all together make this song, you know, something special. So both of those things are really fun.
With a band, you have all of that spread out throughout many people and have to be able to work with each other, cooperate with each other, but not make it a big deal. It's not an argument, you know, or a debate. It's about listening to each other, and it's amazing what happens when people are able to pay attention to what's going on around them and make it one.
And audiences seem to like it, and so it just is a lot of fun, and it's professionally very rewarding.
Did you know that PSTV airs every weekday on Campus Channel 10, Charter 17?
Doug, Abby, everybody knows that.
Well, did you know laughter isn't always the best medicine?
Laugh, Taj? Taj?
Ha ha!
Taj?
Did you know your Edit Suite computer has been hacked?
Really? My password is something that nobody would guess.
Is it Ronald B. Stafford Ice Arena?
No, I didn't get the footage, and I don't want to talk about it. I don't know, man. They hacked into my password. I don't understand it.
What got you into bluegrass?
Well, that's a really good question because I was raised in a completely classical music family. My mother was a classical pianist, and I honestly don't know. But when I went to a festival, I was just out of college, and I went to a festival in North Carolina, and I instantly fell in love with it. It was, I think, a combination of the energy of it and the fact that multi-generations enjoyed it. I was walking around at the campsites the night that I got to this festival, and there were old guys who were the age that I am now, playing with people that are, you know, were teenagers and 20-somethings. So it crossed generational boundaries. And it's improvisational. You basically make up what you're playing almost as you're playing it, but it's not quite as esoteric as jazz. So and the harmonies, I love the close harmonies. So all of those things make me love it.
Well, I've been playing, I grew up on folk music, rock and roll, and got kind of turned on to country music when I was in my 20s. And that kind of blended together, in some ways just being up here in a rural state and meeting some people who were playing it and trying to learn how to do it. And then I got hired to play with Breakaway, which was a pretty popular bluegrass band. And I had to really kind of study, how do you do this? You know, how do you play the rhythm guitar in bluegrass? What is that? And so that's pretty much how I got into that particular genre.
I got introduced to bluegrass when I was in college. So that was probably about 15 or 17 years ago now. I lived down in North Carolina, and I met some friends who played bluegrass. They just played, you know, they had a group, but it was real casual, and they'd sit around and just pick, and so I got introduced to it that way. And I started strumming bluegrass rhythm guitar on my own to kind of get into it, and then started getting into a little songwriting and singing.
A good friend of mine who lived up the street from me, we went to grade school and middle school and high school together. So, you know, he's about 5 or 6 years younger than I am, but his brothers were all bluegrass musicians as well. So we used to go up to their bedroom and we put on Monroe records and Old and in the Way and stuff like that and just play. So that's really, he got me started playing bluegrass.
Oh, you know, what got me into bluegrass? When I was growing up, you know, in the pre-internet days, it was hard to find bluegrass. So, you know, there was a show on television called The Beverly Hillbillies. You might see the reruns of it. But it had Earl Scruggs played banjo in that. And so I heard that and I remember thinking, wow, I have to learn how to do that. That just sounds really cool. So I went to the music store and got an old used banjo and found vinyl, and learned how to do it.
Tell Martha not to moan. Sister Martha. Listen to me, Mary. Listen, Mary. Tell Martha not to moan. Sweet Sister Martha. The Pharaoh's army. They went down in the sea one day. But Jesus said, Mary. Sweet Mary. Tell Martha not to moan anymore. Oh, Mary. Sweet Mary. Tell Martha not to moan. If maybe somebody's sick today, somebody ain't got a home. The Pharaoh's army, they went down in the sea one day. But I believe a man said, Mary, tell Martha not to moan anymore. Well, if I could, I surely would. I'd put my foot on the rock where Moses stood. On the rock where Moses Pharaoh's army. They went down in the sea one day. But Jesus said, Mary, your little sister won't have to moan anymore. Well, Moses was standing where the water made a wall. He called out to the people, saying, God won't let you fall. And he saw 600 chariots go down in that sea one day, one day, one day, one day. Oh no, no, you better watch for the rainbow sign. You know your God is a-coming. Oh, that wind, that tide, the Pharaoh and his armies and his riders and his chariots. Jesus said, Mary, don't you weep. Jesus said, Mary, don't you weep. You don't have to cry. Mary, oh, tell Martha not to cry. Tell Martha not to moan. 'Cause I'll be your bridge. I'll be your bridge. I'll take you there. Over dark in water. Mary, Mary, don't you weep. Tell Martha not to
Thank you so much.